Hello, welcome back. My name is Dale. I am also known as the Witch of YYC, and I am talking to you guys about the ongoing spiritual war that we find ourselves in. And this spiritual war is beside, I don't know, what is it beside? It's between the spectrum of good and evil, the light and the dark, the shadow and the illumination. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling cards to see what themes are relevant right now when it comes to the spiritual war and what we need to be talking about. Because, there's, I think, also an inner conflict that can come up and is a really big part of the greater scheme of things, right? The as within, so without. So the concept that we're creating our own reality, we're creating our own destiny, and on a mass consciousness scale, the more that there's a larger group of people focusing on something, on one thing, that's what tends to manifest. So I'm here to see what we need to bring to the forefront of our consciousness based on the themes that pop out, that are relevant, that my guides believe that we need to hear and share. Okay, amazing. Ooh, there's a lot today. Which, I don't know, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like we're at the solstice, we're at the midpoint of the year. We're in the northern hemisphere anyhow. We're in the longest days, right? With the summer solstice, and there's a lot of energy. We just had a pretty intense full moon. We're leading to what I think is a very renewing new moon, the new moon in Cancer, which is coming up on the 25th of June. And then we're leading into the summer. So 8/8 portal is coming, and there's going to be lots of shifts. And then before you know it, we're in another eclipse season. And I think I'm going off topic. Anyhow, I don't know. It's all coming through. So 5 cards have come out, and they all have a different theme, different astrological correspondence. And that's what we're going to dial into. So the first one that comes up is discrimination. Discrimination. We've got Venus in Virgo, okay? And the first thing that I'm drawn to when I look at this card, well, other than the number 6, which is pretty relevant, we're in June, the 6th month, halfway point of the year. 6 is the number of man. And these butterflies are really what I'm being drawn to. And the symbol of transformation, the symbol of really spreading your wings and coming into your fullest potential. When I think of Venus in Virgo, so Venus is our, like, what we value, right? Whether it's ourself, our relationships, the value that we put on things and money, that currency, that exchange. And Virgo is order. Virgo is perfection. Virgo is structure. Virgo is, very kind of disciplined. And when that comes together, I see that theme of discrimination asking us to be really thoughtful about what we're putting value on. And I think that this is a theme that slightly came up in one of the last readings, but it's asking us to be really discriminating about it. And, to laser focus. Mars just moved into Virgo. And so I think, that ties into our actions. Are we being discriminate with our actions? Are we really being intentional as well? I think is part of that discrimination. And knowing that there is beauty in all different like what I'm thinking is like these butterflies, right? They all look different colors, different patterns. But it's really about discriminating what is valuable for you personally. And just being very in tune with that. It's almost like balancing the mind. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but yet this is Venus. So it's balancing that mind, that mercurial thought process with the heart, and using that to really discern your next steps, how you're spending your time, what you're paying attention to, all of that, which again, I do think came up in the last reading, because what I'm thinking about now with what you're paying attention to, are you discriminating with the information that's coming in, and everything that you're receiving and ingesting and internalizing. So I think that that's a really cool reminder there, which leads us to the next one, which is discovery. And this is Mercury in Sagittarius. And I'm loving the imagery on this card right now, because it looks very scientific, right? But when we think of Sagittarius, it's really high level, big picture, philosophical, asking the large questions about life and why we're here. But Mercury is like that logic, the detail, kind of what I was talking about with Virgo. So when we're looking at discovery, it's like, okay, we can look at the big picture, but are we looking at it with a magnifying glass? Are we really getting down to the layers of what's underneath, and discovering from this inner knowing, this inner intelligence, and how is that being reflected in what we're seeing in the world around us? So I love this, because when we're thinking about the spiritual war, there's so much information that's coming in, but at the same time, there's so much left for you to discover. You're not going to have all the answers. And if you think that you found an answer today, tomorrow, some new information might come in that makes you think something completely different, or is going to challenge your authority on a certain topic. And I love that, having this open mind, coming from a place of discovery, and from that higher perspective, from that higher level, but still being able to get into the details of something, right? So knowing that, for example, if we think of some of the weapons that are forged against us in the media, right? There are these clickbaity titles, and that's kind of that higher, large perspective where it's like, here's a sensational title that's going to grab your attention and make you form an opinion immediately. But when you get into the details of the article, it might be saying something completely different, or you're meant to really use your discernment. So I think balancing that from an openness, from an open-mindedness, is a key right now. Okay. Vision. I feel like these are like just going in succession. So vision is Sun in Pisces. Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, and includes all the signs of the zodiac. It's kind of a culmination. It's the ultimate expression of all the archetypes, right? And is very visionary. Pisces traditionally ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, right? But it's the sun. So it's about that expression. It's about that creativity. It's about that egoic perspective, that individuality, and expressing it in a way that is connected to spirit, right? So this is the ultimate embodiment, I think, of the soul matching the ego reflecting the soul, and using that to be really crystal clear on what your vision is for yourself. Who are you? What is your soul's path? What is your role within this spiritual war? And how are you going to live that in the most authentic way? Using your third eye, loving this imagery there, and finding the willpower from the solar plexus to really present that in a very aligned way with integrity. And I think that that's what this card is really talking about. I think what we've been seeing a lot over the past couple months, maybe this whole year, people are being triggered out of their masks, right? And are being called to embody that authenticity. And, oh, sorry if I bumped that. But what I think that we've been seeing is if people aren't comfortable and moving in integrity, they're not comfortable with their shadow or the work that they've done, or they find that they're masking, or they have to mask and present themselves in certain ways, there's cracks. Cracks are starting to form. And these might be actually huge fissures and chasms that are erupting, and the masks are falling off. The true self is being exposed. And if you are living Sun in Pisces with this vision, then you're not afraid of that exposure, because there's nothing to hide, right? Shoot, I can't remember the quote right now, but it's something about how the truth, the truth doesn't have to hide, so it doesn't fear exposure, something like that. Anyhow, yeah, that's that, I feel. Okay, now we've got health. And I think, I'm not sure if health has come up before, but Sun in Virgo, 6th house. So this is really about your day-to-day activities. How are you taking care of your physical self? Yes, the spiritual war is being waged in the various astral realms and the unseen realms and in the invisible spheres and worlds, and on psychic level. However, we are still here in the 3D, right? This is something that people are saying, we've transcended 3D, we're now living in 5D. Pretty sure that's a physical table. If you pinch me, that's gonna hurt. We are in the 3D, whether we want to acknowledge that or not. And this is my opinion. Okay, by the way, disclaimer, everything that's said in these videos is my opinion. It's what I'm channeling. This is how I perceive the truth. It may not resonate for you, but in my perspective, we are still very much in the 3D, and our physical health is so very important. Yes, we are in this spiritual war, and we need to take care of ourselves spiritually and make sure that we're protecting and cleansing and managing that hygiene and balance there, but also on the physical side. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating grounding foods? Are you eating enough? Or maybe you need to fast to cleanse the body. Have you done a parasite cleanse lately? How are you supplementing in terms of, maybe adaptogens or other things from the material realm, from Mother Earth, and really taking care of the physical form, because yes, we are spiritual beings, but we are in this material plane, and the way that we treat our bodies, our temples, is ultimately what's housing our spirit, and we want to make sure that that is in the best order and repair and state that it can be to honor that, right? So really make sure that you're taking care of your health and that you're taking care of those around you. Check in on your friends, ask them, have you eaten today? Or are you drinking enough water? Is your water structured? Whatever the case may be. Or do you need to go for a walk? Movement is so important too for our physical health, especially since it affects our energetic body so much, right? When we have blockages within the chakras, within the aura, in the astral, the biofield, right? Within that self, how we manipulate the physical. This is why yoga, qigong, swimming, walking, being outside in nature, hiking, dance, whatever it is that you're called to, when we're moving in a physical way, this is going to really help the energy to process. as well. So super, super important that we're taking care of our health during this time, always. Ooh, and then the last one we have is independence. So this is Moon in Aquarius, independence. So what's coming through for this? The moon is our inner world. It's our emotions. It's our intuition. And Aquarius is that individual within the collective, right? So it's really about being true to self. And I think finding this inner independence, this inner sovereignty, this inner clarity where you know who you are and you can discern your inner knowing, your truth, your inner intelligence in a way that you can take in information from the outside world and hear other perspectives and what people have to say, even my perspective, right? But ultimately what it comes down to is what you know to be true for you, and to be really confident in that and independent in that. So you don't necessarily have to rely on others, but you're able to cultivate this inner guiding system, this way to discern for yourself. I think that that's really, really important. And it's not to say that you can't, like I said, get feedback from others. I think that that's really, really important too, but not be dependent on it, right? Or like codependent and things like that, but to really stand on your own as an individual part of the universe that's being expressed through your form. I think that that's what this is really calling me to, because there is so much information out there. There are so many perspectives. Everyone has their viewpoint, their truth, but ultimately it comes down to what is right for you, and relying on that. You're the main character in your story, right? Everyone else could be an NPC. I say that kind of flippantly. That's kind of my humor, but it's also kind of true, right? That's that egoic expression. Okay, I'm gonna pull a chakra card and see what other messages need to be shared. Visualization. Okay, so we've got third eye up here. So imagination, focus, experience, manifestation. I think this is actually a crown. Crown, third eye, imagination, focus, experience, manifestation. So you are the architect of your reality. You create your destiny, and what you can imagine in your mind, you can hold in your hand. And I think, the more focus that we have together. So this is coming first full circle to what I was saying at the beginning of this video, that as we come together as a community and we are focusing on all of these themes that I just talked about, and putting our energies together and holding our frequencies at the same level, then we are able to manifest things on a greater scale. I think being in community, being in a like-minded collective where you're able to bounce off each other, work with each other, be in ritual, live in the cycles of nature, and really work together is how we can bring our vision into this reality, right? We don't have to go along with the narrative that is being fed to us. That is a spell, okay? I think often what we're seeing in the media, in the news, on social media, from certain talking heads, politics for sure, is being fed to us so that we have that in our mind, that it permeates the collective consciousness, and that we help them create their reality. But I say, no, thank you. We are going to visualize, imagine, focus on the world that we want to create, and And you see this happen all the time with the synchronicities and the signs that come through. That's the experience. That's the evidence that your subconscious needs in order to believe that you can create and manifest the future that we really want, right? This golden age. So yeah, visualization. And then finally, I'm going to pull an affirmation card just because I think these are fun. So what is our affirmation for today? All right. Ooh, I am worthy. I love this. I know my excellence and I settle for nothing less. Right? This is reminding me of a kind of aggressive manifestation technique that came across my field a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. This aggressive manifestation technique, it's basically like saying like this, right? I settle for nothing less. So what do you want? What do you know that you are worthy of? And absolutely reject anything that is outside of that reality, outside of that vision. You can say to yourself, I refuse to accept a reality where, this is a thing, where I'm not going to say something because I feel like I might say something that might get this video flagged. But then, then the opposite of that, you say, I only accept a reality where the golden age manifests, right? So yeah, I refuse to accept a reality where the golden age does not manifest, and I only accept a reality where the golden age manifests, because we are worthy of it. We know our excellence. We are remembering our power. We are remembering our all of our sacred gifts, of which there are many. And this realm, yes, while it is physical, it is also spiritual. And there's so much to it that we are tapping into, and we will settle for nothing less. Okay. So yeah, let me know if this resonated with you. Let me know if it didn't resonate with you. Let me know. I love hearing your comments. And I just want to say thank you to the support that I've been getting for these readings. I'm absolutely thrilled to hear that this is resonating with some of you guys, and that the messages coming through are connecting. That means so much to me, because this was just a new thing that I felt called to do. And like I said, this is, like I've said before, it's going to evolve. I don't know where it's going, but you actually have so much input and feedback to help evolve what this is going to look like. So let me know. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear about? Do you have questions? Are there certain things that you want me to touch on? What else came up for you while I was going through these cards that you would want to share with me or with everyone? Because we're doing this together, you guys. We got this. Yeah. So thanks so much. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things. And reach out if you want to know more. I do also do personal readings, and I also offer spiritual coaching. I guess I'll throw that out there. So one of the things that I offer on top of energy work is one-on-one coaching, where we can help you to tap into your gifts, to find your soul's purpose and your path. And, if you're feeling stuck, help you to move some energy and really find your alignment. So yeah, let me know if any of that sounds interesting to you, or if you want to know more. I'm always open to answering your questions. And I'm wishing you a very, very lovely day.